Most times, a lot of us aren't getting to where we got to go because everybody around you thinks small. He was the gentleman who I was with last week, about 2 weeks ago in Grant Cardone office, and he was one of the gentlemen. His company will do $25 million this year and probably $50 million next year, and I'm happy to call him a sparring partner. So when I bring him out here, I want y'all fully tapped in on the information. I want y'all to listen because this man got 52 W-2 employees. That means not under the table. That means this man's running an intense business, and he's only working anywhere from an hour to 2 hours a day. So he understands processes, how to grow a business. So the game that he's going to deliver to y'all may help y'all business make an extra $1 million or $2 million in the next year. So is it okay if he deliver an extra $1 million or $2 million of value to you guys? So as my God come out to the stage, I need y'all to make some noise for my brother, my friend-tor, all around amazing guy, Bill Hauser. Let's go. My God, Bill. Yeah. He's hilarious. Let's go, Bill. Let's go. Hey, make some noise for my guy, y'all. Make some noise. Yeah.
Let's go. All right. Yo. Nobody sit down right now. And if you saw me the last time at Neo's conference, all right, I was yelling at people. Raise your hand if you saw me at Neo's conference. All right, I was yelling at people and they were yawning. Okay, so I'm getting like a hawk. When I see someone yawn, I'm like, yawning is a sign of lack of attachment to purpose. You just hear what I said? Wait, I'm gonna say it again. Yawning is a sign of lack of attachment to purpose. If you just looked in your bank account right now and you saw $10 million in your bank account, would you yawn, yes or no? Would you yawn, yes or no? Okay? Your levels of energy have to do with your size of commitments. Okay? Show me your commitments. I will show you what your progress is. So what I'm going to be breaking down, how many of you would like to know how to add $1 to $10 million onto your business in 1 year? Guys, I can't bring the energy. I mean, come on. Okay. And when I show you how to do this, how many of you are going to push the excuses aside and take action now? Say, that's me. Okay, let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. Okay, so the first thing I want to actually deliver right now is one concept to everyone, and that's this: recurring revenue only. Everyone, please write this down. Recurring revenue only. Recurring revenue only. 3 months ago, I was offered, as Neo said, $45 million for my business, cash, which I turned down. David Shands and I talked about this on his podcast. And that was one of the toughest decisions of my life, but it was also one of the quickest decisions of my life, because it forced me to look at what my full potential is. It forced me to ask myself, what am I worth as a person? Wave your hand like this if you're following me up to this point. Is everyone with me? Okay? So I've been writing down for 5 years, I do $256 million a year in revenue. 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 Wrote it down every single day for 6 years. I'm like desensitized to it because I've written it down so many times that it's just water to me. When your stretch goals become like water, like survival requirements to you, then you know you're actually committed to what your potential is. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me on this, okay? But it wasn't always like that. And I don't tell this story too often. See, 4.5 years ago, I made my first cold call for my business. And 4 years before that, I walked into a computer room and I saw a suicide note from my mom. And I walked into the room and I was trying to play video games on this little computer. And I saw this paper kind of on the table to the right of the computer I was going to play games on. And I'm like, I don't even know, maybe 16 at the time. And I saw this paper like out, it was coming out of like a folder, and I pull it out and I start reading it. And it was my mom writing everything that she was going to give away when she killed herself. I thought it was a joke. Has anyone ever been in such a state of denial? Raise your hand like this. You ever been in such a state of denial that it was just insane? I had no idea if what I was reading was real. And it was real. And thank God she didn't kill herself. Fast forward a few months later, and I find out that my family's $1 million in debt. We're going bankrupt, and everything we own is getting repossessed. I drove up to the bank this one day, and there was these 4 people at the bank right by my house, like standing at the window of the bank, and they were staring at me like with calculators. I was so confused. I was literally depositing a check. I was doing construction work with my dad, and they were planning on how they were going to repossess my truck. And fast forward a week later, my truck was repossessed. Our house was repossessed. Everything we owned was repossessed. The last memory I have of my childhood house was every ounce of our clothes on the front lawn of the house. The last memory I have of my house is my dad and my mom getting into a fight. My dad got into 3 DUIs. He got into a DUI accident. Does anyone know what the #1 cause of divorce is? Take some guesses. Say it again. It's finances, by far. So we're $1 million in debt, led to the divorce, led to everything crumbling apart. And my mom, she was the strongest person. How many of you have like a really strong mom? Say, that's me. Okay? Seeing a parent of yours just be like a role model is one of the most strong experiences you can ever have, because it teaches you grit and resilience. And I didn't see my dad for 2 years from the day our house got repossessed. He moved in with this other woman that he was seeing. And I get a call from him 2 years later, after not hearing from him once for 2 years. This is after the bankruptcy, after the divorce. I get a call. It's from my dad. It's from a different number. All of his stuff got disconnected. And he's like frantically crying on the phone. He's blaming me for the divorce. He's blaming me for the bankruptcy. He was just in such denial. This was the leader of our family with nothing to prove. For years and years and years of work, nothing to prove for his work. And I'm on the phone with him, and all of a sudden, his tone of voice, I remember it like it was yesterday. His tone of voice picks up like you're going up a roller coaster, right? It's just do. And he starts yelling, and it gets frantic, and his voice is shaking, and he hangs up. And within 10 minutes, I got a text from the lady that he was living with And I see him with his back to the side, holding a gun to his head, looking out at this woods behind him. While my dad was on the phone with me, he had a gun to his head the entire phone call. So I freak out. I try calling her like 3 times. I'm like, probably 15 times, honestly. I kept calling her. She was not picking up. I thought he killed himself. I thought she was like dealing with the situation. And then I get a weird text from her saying like, everything's good. It's like she was drunk or something. It was all disheveled text, but said everything's good in there. It's the only thing I could see. And I didn't hear from him for 2 hours. And then I get a call from her, and she says that he took the gun away from his head. There was this woods behind him, and he took every round of that gun out, just shot every round of the gun out to the woods behind the house. So here I am in my late teens, and I see all of this turmoil within my family business. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I was able to analyze why my dad's business didn't succeed. See, a lot of us, we study success from the frame of, what do we need to do? Let's study successful people. Let's get mentors. Let's get role models. But the problem is some of us don't have scar tissue. Some of us aren't tapping into our scar tissue. Some of us aren't looking at our role models for who they really are. It's a lot more comfortable to say, my parents, my mentors, they were great to me. They gave me a great baseline for success. It's a lot harder to look at those who basically, raised you and question them. So, sorry to get deep and crazy there. I know I'm usually high energy, and I'm gonna get high energy in a few seconds, but I didn't share any of my story the last time that I talked. So when you see this crazy, frantic maniac that I am, 31 years old, I just turned 3 weeks ago. Like Neo said, we have 52 full-time W-2 employees. We were just rated the 700th fastest growing company in the United States. Thank you. The reason this is easy for me is because I will not go back to what I saw in 2008. I refuse. There is not one little inklet, not one teeny bit, that I will ever let myself go back to the feeling of losing everything. Someone say everything. I refuse. So what I want to ask everyone right now is, what's your why? I know you've heard this question before, but what's really your why? Because your why, it's not something in your head. Your why isn't an affirmation phrase that you write down every now and then. Your why is knowledge. Someone say knowledge. Someone say knowledge again. Okay? It's a gut feeling. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to inspire 1 billion people by being a role model in business. That is my purpose. To prevent from what happened to my family from happening to my own family and to everyone that I ever deal with for the rest of my life. I don't need to have affirmations around that. I don't need to talk to myself in the mirror every day about that. It is deep soul knowledge. Someone say soul. Say it again, soul. Okay? So, what we're gonna break down is, how do you add $1 to $10 million a year onto your business in the next 12 months? How many of you still wanna do that? Say, I do. Okay, so 4.5 years ago, I'm making cold calls. Okay, I'm 26 years old at the time. I'm not superhuman. Nobody in my family has succeeded at business. My only role model went bankrupt. Nobody finished college in my family. So there's no silver spoon here. 4.5 years ago, I'm in the basement of an apartment complex called Presidential City in Philadelphia, PA. 4.5 years ago, I'm making cold calls to start my marketing agency. 8 months before that, I refused to sell one thing until I had a 10-year plan on paper. Someone say on paper. Why? Because I studied my dad's business and I saw he didn't have a plan. He just went into every single year with, what are we gonna do this year? How many of you know what I'm talking about? Put your hand up. Let me see how many of you know what I'm talking about right now. I'm looking. Virtually, put a yes in the chat as well. He never had a plan. Every year was just, what are we gonna do? Everyone write this down. The more talented you are, the less you will plan. The more talented you are, the less you will plan. Planning is a habit. Nobody who's talented at what they do wants to plan. It's boring. So that's why I don't plan. I set vision. Someone say vision. Someone say vision again. Put it in the chat. Say vision. Okay? So I learned how to set vision. So what I did before I made my first sale was I created a 10-year vision. I created an Excel spreadsheet. This is before I made one cold call. That's how demented I am. I'm in this apartment, living in Philly, and I remember I had these roommates at the time when I made this plan, and one day I overheard them talking behind my back. They were like, that's kind of like the guy from A Beautiful Mind. It's this movie with this crazy, like, creative guy that has, like, Asperger's. Maybe I have it, I don't know. But regardless, I'm creating these magical plans behind how I'm gonna scale my business, and I didn't make one sale. I'm unemployed. I just quit my job in sales. Alone in an apartment making 10-year plans on how I'm gonna do $256 million a year. This is 4.5 years ago. Okay? I got made fun of. Everyone said you're setting too big of goals. Everyone said you're thinking too big. Don't let yourself down. So I literally mapped out year one, I will do $460,000. I'm sorry, year one, I will do 500. I only did 460. Year two, I will do 1.5. Year three, I will do 4.5. Year four, I will do 12 million. And year five, which is this year, I will do 24 million. That's what I wrote down in this sheet. I wrote it down. It was an Excel spreadsheet. I still have it to this day, and we still run our business on it to this day. To this day. And there's misspellings in it, and it doesn't look good. But to me, it was everything. Every single time I got hung up on, every single time things didn't go the way I thought they were gonna go, I just looked back at that Excel spreadsheet. Said, here's where I'm going, here's where I'm going, here's where I'm going, here's where I'm going, here's where I'm going. So I want everyone unanimously to write down the answer to this question right now. If you're gonna do this, say, I'm in. Say it again, I'm in. Put in the chat, I'm in. Write this down. 3 years from today, if I had no limitations, you're answering this question. You don't have to write down the whole question. 3 years from today, if I had no limitations, I had no financial limitations, I could attract anyone to work with my business or my idea, I had no self-confidence limitations. 0. How many limitations? Say it again, how many? 0 limitations. I want you to go there for a minute. Really, really picture that there is actually nothing holding you back. You have the money you need. You have the people you need. You have everything you need. 3 years from today, what would be true? I'm not just willy-nilly asking this question right now. What would be true? This is called a future truth statement. This is not visualization. This isn't airy-fairy stuff. I'm telling you to teleport yourself 3 years from today. Is everyone with me? Wave your hand like this if you're with me. Give me a yes in the chat. Teleport. Please be with me right now. Okay, teleport. Literally transport yourself, okay? So I don't know, pretend you're in a hovercraft or something, okay? And like every second there was like a year. Wow, there's something metal here. And now, literally, I want everyone to get on the same page with this. Now, you're looking back and you are literally reporting, like a news reporter, what is true in your life right now. That is a future truth. So write this down right now. I'll give you like 30 seconds to write this down. You know deep in your, come on, don't question it. What's the financial target? How much money are you on a recurring basis pulling in? How much free time do you have? What's your business worth? Have you sold your business by that point for a certain dollar amount? How many clients do you have? How much is each client paying you on average? How much revenue are you making per client per year? Just brainstorm with me real quick. How many leads per month are you getting? Okay, how many followers do you have? How many subscribers do you have? I'm not gonna look up until I get a sense that the whole room is clear. Everyone virtual too. I can read a room. What's true? You're reporting 3 years. What's true? What's true? All right, I'm going to you. What's true? Just give me one bullet. Consistency, okay, let's go. Yep, okay, 3 years, $250 million in 4 quadrants each. Give a round of applause for both of these. Anyone else want to share? Go ahead. 88.9 million. Woo! Give it up for that. Go ahead. Wow, 100,000 people help themselves and become financially free. Round of applause for that. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't write what I'm saying. I will be a billionaire and I'm going to retire early.
Billionaire and retire early. Give it up for that. Woo! Okay. So, what we want to talk about now is what is separating you from the statement that you just held, that you just wrote down, and actualizing it. Someone say actualize. Say it again, actualize. Okay? This is what success is. Oh, wow. I kept feeling something that's so funny. I was like, this carpet is really like slimy. Little did I know I had this on my shoe. Thank you for that, by the way. Give it up for a friend. So here's what I'm very excited to talk about for the remainder of this, because this is where it gets meat and potatoes. This is where the rubber meets the road. What the statement you just wrote down, What is separating you from making that real? Yeah, I mean, we have a million reasons. It's gonna come down to time, money, ability. At the end of the day, the human brain limits itself from 3 top reasons is I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the ability. There's a lot in cognitive behavioral science behind this. Time, money, ability. Does everyone have the same amount of time? Say yes. Okay. Does anybody who is self-created start with the money? Say no. Okay. And can anybody learn any skill in today's information age? Say yes. Okay, so it's not time, money, or ability. So now what? What's preventing you from it? Okay. Ooh, who said nothing? Give it up for nothing. So what I'm gonna actually share is the 5 reasons that goal setting doesn't work. This is backed in cognitive behavioral science. This is not me brainstorming, although I like to hear myself talk sometimes. This is not me brainstorming. This is proven. 5 reasons, if you're taking notes, that goal setting doesn't work. Number 1, faith. Number 2, fuel. Number 3, finance. Number 4, furnace. Number 5, thermostat. You're probably, what the heck is this guy talking about right now? I'll give you a metaphor. When we want to take our lives to the next level, it's a lot like heating up a house. Someone say a house. All right, let's bring the house down. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. Let's go. Woo! Light up the chat virtual. Give me a 1. Okay. So it's kind of like heating up a house. There's 5 things that go into heating up a house. Number 1 is you have to have the goal to heat up the house. I'll explain how this ties into those 5 reasons I just gave you. You got to have a goal to heat up the house in the first place. Okay? Number 2, you got to spend money on the heating bill. Number 3, you have to have what's called a furnace. This is the stuff that transfers heat throughout a house. Okay? Number 4 is you have to have a thermostat in the house. The thermostat controls temperature. A thermometer reads temperature. Everyone just catch that distinction. A thermostat controls temperature. How many of you have ever tried to reduce or turn on the AC in your house? Put your hand up like this. Okay? You do that through a thermostat. Okay? So let me explain these 5 factors for you when it comes to heating up a house. Number 1, I said faith. Heating up your life is almost identical to heating up a house. Do you have a clear target? Is faith. Do you believe in the target? Someone say believe. See, belief is the first pillar of why goal setting doesn't work. I call it faith. Belief is, are you willing to die? Someone say, I'm willing to die for my goals. Let's say it again, I'm willing to die for my goals. That is faith. Now, are we gonna wait around for faith to come? Maybe we'll be self-confident one day. Maybe we'll have the gung-ho-ness to go take action on our goals just one day. Or perhaps can we actually create a habit? Someone say habit. Can we create a habit behind our belief? Is it possible to generate conviction? Everyone just catch what I said? Is it possible to generate faith through your habits? What do you think? Yeah. There's science on this. Okay? If you repeat your goals every single day to yourself, if you write them down every single day, if you use affirmation timers in your phone so that you put recurring daily timers on your phone that put your goal in front of you 3 to 4 times a day, you are statistically 10 times more likely to reach your goals. Anyone can do that. This is not complicated. What happens is your conscious mind actually needs to manipulate your subconscious mind. If you don't believe it, that means your subconscious mind doesn't believe it. That means your conscious mind has to manipulate your subconscious mind until your subconscious mind goes, well, you've written down a goal for 6 years. I guess I believe it now. If you're getting it, say, I'm getting it. Okay? You can generate faith. Okay? Let's talk about finance. I said you can't heat up the house if you don't spend money on the what? The heating bill. You can't heat up the house. You can have the best heating system in the world. You could have a clear goal. I'm going to heat up my house at 90 degrees, and then you could spend no money on the heating bill. That's why I said earlier, show me your commitments, and I will tell you how fast your business is growing. Who wants to take a guess how much money? We have an event next week. I'm interviewing Alex Rodriguez, interviewing Jillian Michaels, Gary Vaynerchuk next week in Florida. I'm actually hopping on a flight to there right after this. How much money do you think we spent on the event? Yeah, I don't even know. 600 grand or something, 700, I don't know. I'm not worried about how much we're spending. I'm worried about where we're going. What's the target? Someone say, what's the target? Okay, I don't care if it's 700 grand. The target is the target, is the target, is the target, is the target. I will never prevent progress with a lack of payment. Ever. You notice how wide my eyes just got there? That is weird. I mean, that is like, I believe that in my bones. I will never, ever, 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 I'm talking to myself, by the way, right now. Yes. Okay. Ever, 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 ever not make progress because I'm afraid to pay. Because I'm afraid to pay up. Pay the price today. Someone say pay the price today and give yourself a round of applause for being here. Pay the price today so you can pay any price tomorrow. Finance. So we have the faith. We're financing our dream. You don't have the money, by the way. A power plant doesn't have energy. It generates energy. It takes raw resources, wind, water, turbines, blah, blah, blah. Solar, I mean, you name it. Power plants take raw materials and turn them into productive assets. Doesn't that sound a little bit like an entrepreneur? Maybe you're the power plant of your dreams. Say, I'm the power plant. Okay, say, I'm the CEO. Okay, I choose what I commit to. So let's talk about what's the furnace. Well, the furnace is your systems. Okay, once we're spending money on the heating bill, once we're clear we want to heat up the house, where's that heat going to actually transfer through? It's going to transfer through the heating ducts and the air conditioning and all that. That's your business. That's the intrinsic value of your business. That is the actual value that you provide to your clients and customers. Put your hand up like this if you're following me up to this point. Just want to make sure I'm not losing anyone. Okay. Thank you, thank you. Over here too, you guys, everyone good? Okay. That's your actual business. That's the vessel through which you take your energy and your commitments and produce value for the market. That's your furnace. Let's talk about what's your thermostat. Your thermostat, what am I pointing at? I'm pointing at my head, my brain, my noggin. Because you could have the best business vessel in the world. By the way, there's plenty of marketing agencies out there. True or false? Give me a true. Okay, plenty of marketing agencies. Not many of them in 4.5 years with the 31-year-old CEO get a $45 million offer. So it's not the business vessel. There's plenty of marketing agencies, right? It's the belief. So belief is your thermostat. It's the language patterns that go through your head. So if your language patterns are, I don't have the money, now isn't the time, I can't make a decision, I need more information. If that's your response to every single opportunity that comes up, you're literally gonna reject abundance before it ever enters your life. You have created a habit of rejecting the opportunities that can exponentially grow your life. The beautiful thing is, habits are the easiest things to replace. Like, you can change your habits in 1 minute. Charles Duhigg, he wrote a book called The Power of Habit. And he created this diagram that's called the habit loop. And the habit loop says that all habit formation happens cue, routine, reward. What happens when 2 p.m. hits? Are you wide awake, or do most people get tired? Say tired. Okay? Most people get tired when 2 p.m. hits. That is a cue, feeling tired. Routine, you have a couple options with your routines. Some people are gonna pick up a bar of what? Candy. They're gonna, bar of soda. That's a good invention for the, maybe that'll be your furnace. Invent the first bar of soda. No, but seriously, right? We have micro habits where when we get tired, we grab a bar of candy. I almost said soda, okay? Grab a bar of candy. We go drink some soda. We go mindlessly scroll through social media. Someone say social media, okay? Why? It's easier to not use our cognitive brain. It's easier to just let Zuckerberg's algorithm control our head for a few minutes. Sorry. Can you change that habit in less than 5 minutes? Someone say yes. Yeah. All it takes is habit replacement. Changing your life doesn't mean you got to change everything. It's just one tiny decision. But this time, I'm going to shut my eyes for 5 minutes, take a deep breath, and then refocus. Okay? It's called the release refocus technique. This is what some of the most wealthy CEOs in the world do throughout their day. Release, relax, refocus. You release whatever happened up to that point in the day, and then you refocus. This is what Oprah asks herself before every single meeting that she does. She asks herself one question: what is the intention of this meeting? What is the intention of this meeting? When Brendan Burchard had a meeting with Oprah, Brendan Burchard goes in, and Oprah just kept asking, what's the intention of this meeting? What's the intention of this meeting? What's the intention of this meeting? Every 15-minute block of Oprah's life has intention. Someone say intention. Okay? Intention. Release, refocus. Release, refocus. Release, refocus. What is the intention? What is the outcome? Someone say outcome. That one little habit. What's the intention? Will change your entire life. What is the outcome of this meeting? What is the outcome of this event? The reason I make a 7 to 8 figure ROI when I attend events like this is because I have never in my life attended an event that I have not first written down before I walk into a room like this. What am I looking to get out of this event? I'm telling you, it's specific, because I am not going to exchange days of my time if it's not going to result in multi-7 figures on my business. When you're looking for wealth, do you find it? Yes or no? Say yes. Okay. But there's one other one I missed, and that's fuel. See, to heat up the house, you actually need fuel. To change your life, you actually need fuel. What's your fuel? Your fuel, I like that. Your fuel is your why. Your fuel is that deep spiritual knowledge that what I'm doing is not just for me. I am on a mission. I am doing this for generations of people. I am doing this not just for my own little, oh, I want more freedom, I want more money. No. Does anyone succeed like that? No. Circle CEOs would not be putting on an event like, they don't have to put on an event like this. They're on something else. I hang out with these guys a lot. Like, they're just constantly thinking of how they can deliver more and more value. So what's your why? Is it clear? Is it documented? Is it written in your phone? Is it the screensaver on your phone? Is there documented evidence of your why? So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Why goal setting doesn't work. The second thing I want to talk about is something that's called the 20-40-10 rule. If you follow this one rule in your life, everything, what did I say? Okay, what did I say again? Put in the chat, say it out loud. Everything will change if you follow the 20-40-10 rule. Does everyone remember that number that you just wrote down earlier in today's session? I asked you if there were no limitations, what would be true? What would be what? I'm not asking for you to brainstorm. I'm saying you are looking back, what would be true 3 years from today? Take that dollar amount. I want you to multiply it by 20%. I want you to multiply it by 40%. I want you to multiply it by 10%. I want to make $1 million a year. What's 20% of that? Someone? 200 grand. What's 40% of $1 million? Go. 400 grand. What's 10% of $1 million? Go. 100 grand. Okay? I have interviewed, oh gosh. I've interviewed Ed Milet 2 times on my show. I've interviewed Damon John twice. I've interviewed Magic Johnson twice. I'm probably not doing myself justice, but trust me, the list is long. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank as well. You name it, and they're in entrepreneurship, I've interviewed them. It's all on my YouTube. They all have one thing in common. They follow the 20-40-10 rule. They are investing 20% of their future goal. Did I say current or future? Go. They're investing 20% of their future goal now. Was I clear on that? Say yes. So 20% of $1 million is $200,000. If you really believed you were doing $1 million, you'd be spending 200 grand a year on marketing right now. That's the 20%, by the way. 20% is marketing of your future goal revenue. 40% is payroll or COGS, stands for cost of goods sold. And 10% is personal development. You mean to tell me, Bill, that I need to spend 10% of my goal on personal development? I'll explain that in a second. 20% of successful businesses' future revenues is spent on marketing now. 40% is spent on payroll or cost of goods sold. This means your team. Just write down team next to 40%. 10% is on personal development. I have interviewed, again, some of the most successful people. I've also coached 330 businesses to double their revenues in less than 1 year. I notice one thing every single time. The businesses that grow are those that they do one thing right. They can miss the 20 and the 40 a little bit. They do one thing right without fail. They never miss the 10%. And yes, I am telling you, all the way up to 5 million a year in revenue, 10% should be spent on personal development. After $5 million, I found it's very hard to spend over 500 grand a year on personal development. I'm speaking from experience because I spend $600,000 a year on mentors, coaches, coaching programs. And I'm telling you from actual experience, I spend 600 grand a year on coaches, mentors, education, and it's hard to spend past 600 grand. How many of you are spending more than $600,000 a year on personal development right now? Okay. I know Neo's probably raising his hand in the back. I thought he was going to be in here. I think you just yelled. I don't say that to brag. I say that because you can do that too. You can do that if you're upside math. Someone write this down. Upside math. If your upside math is clear. If you know for sure you're going to $5 million a year in revenue, and I told you you had to spend 500 grand a year, 10% of that, in order to deserve, what did I just say? Personal development is actually what makes you deserve growth. All the businesses I've interviewed and coached, the way their businesses expand is they first increase their brand. There's some uptick in demand. There's more people requesting to work with the business. The increase in demand creates the need for you to hire people. Someone say hire people. Okay. Did everyone just follow what I just said? Say yes if you followed what I said. Okay. Increased demand, it creates the need for you to hire people. Okay? So you're frantic, oh my God, I learned all this marketing stuff from this event, blah, blah, I'm gonna go blow up, I'm gonna go make more content, blah, 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 blah. The level at which your business will grow will be in direct proportion to the level of personal development that you do on leadership, on mentorship, and on personal education. Personal education, personal development allows you to deserve to get a return on investment when you blow up. It allows you to deserve to hire people and actually keep them on your team. Think about that. So I want to share, now that I've shared the 20-40-10 rule, and actually I want you to write this down right now. I want you to write down 10%, because that's the magic number. Write down 10% of the number you wrote down that will be true 3 years from today. I'll wait. Remember, I'm going to read the room until I feel every single person has written this down. 10% of the number you wrote down that would be true 3 years from today. What is that number? And I want you to stop if you did something over 5 million. I want you to stop at 500K. So we're going to come back to that in a second. By the way, this is how I scaled my business. I just outspend everyone else. I don't have the money. I take risk. Write this down. You don't need to have the money. You just have to have the stomach. When I just paid Alex Rodriguez 180 grand to be at our event next week, still makes my stomach churn a little bit. And then what do? I look at the target. Oh yeah, we're going here. We're going to inspire this many people. This is where we're going. And the 180 grand is not a big deal. Put your hand up like this if you're still with me up to this point. I'm looking around, I'm looking around, I'm looking around, I'm looking around. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're with me virtually. Over here as well. Hand up, hand up, hand up, hand up. Okay. So now, saving the best for last here. The progress triangle. This is where your entire life will transform. I remember when the first course I ever bought, ever online, I don't tell this story, was an anxiety reduction course by a guy named Charles Linden. When I was going through the bankruptcy with my family, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder by a psychiatrist. Another best thing that ever happened to me, because I found that anxiety, ADHD, I call it attention abundance disorder. Man, I got my attention on way too much all the time. This is so fun. I reframed anxiety in my mind as the ability to look around corners, the ability to actually anticipate. What are the two words that come before any anxious thought? What if? So I can just reframe what if in my head and say, what if it goes right? What if I do win? What if I do succeed? What if I hire these people and it works? What if I hire this coach and it works? That is so easy. Nobody's doing this. So the progress triangle is what will transform your life. So I'll bring you back to the story. I buy this anxiety elimination course. I thought it was a ripoff, pulled out my credit card, and did what all great entrepreneurs do, pulled out my wallet, pulled out my credit card, put it right next to the computer, typed in the information. First time I ever bought information in my life. Changed my life. I overcame anxiety disorder because of that course. It changed everything in my life. What's the value of sanity, of peace in your mind? It changed everything. So I bought another course. I bought a course on public speaking. I bought a course on, this is, by the way, when I had no business. I was just some dude in college that was lost with a bankrupt family. And I bought another course and another course and another course and another course and another course. And then I got really frustrated one day and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of buying courses. I'm gonna step it up a notch. I'm gonna go to an in-person event like this. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. So I went to an event like this, and what happened was, it was a Brendan Burchard event in Phoenix. It was off the wall. I mean, the first thing they had us do when I came in there, they're like, all right, everyone, stand up and start dancing. I'm like, looking at everyone, I'm like, is there an industry for this? Like, this is crazy, right? And I'm like dancing around, and then I went to this Tony Robbins event after, and then I went to this other event, and this other event, and this other event. And it was crazy. The first event I attended like this is when I decided to start my company. See, we enter events like this looking for some downloadable swipe file hack that I can go implement right now in my business. You don't come to events for that reason. You come to events like this to make a decision that can change your life. Someone say decision. Okay? You come to an event like this to feel unstoppable when the event ends. You come to an event like this to make a decision. Someone say decision again. You come to an event like this to change your life. So I learned this third secret. I started doing the courses, I started doing the in-person events, and then I went up to New York this one day. I remember it like yesterday. I went on the Amtrak train, Philadelphia, up to New York. I get off, and it was this strategic coach event. It was this like event. They're gonna try and sell us into this coaching program. And it was like, I don't know, it was like $30,000 or something like that. I had never bought something like that ever before. There was this Indian guy and myself who were in the room. It was the worst sales pitch ever. It was terrible. And this lady was like, well, here's what we do in the program, and you'll have work-life balance, and this is da-da-da-da-da. And I was just so motivated because I had clear goals. I pulled out my credit card again. I was like, bing, bang the 30K. I came back, my wife was like, are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me, 30 grand? And it was a bad sales pitch? At least reward good sales, right? And best thing that ever happened to me. Because here's what I realized. When I signed up for an expensive coaching program, I had calendar events pulling me forward every single week, every single quarter, every single month. So I never had to go book another event or go download another course. I had it spoon-fed to me. Put your hand up if you're with me on this. It changed everything for me. It changed everything. So what did I do? I doubled down. I bought another course. I'm sorry, I bought another high-level coaching program. What did I do after that? I bought another high-level coaching program. Okay, then I'm at the pool this one day and I meet this guy, Nehemiah Davis. Any of you know that guy? Okay. And I'm telling him that I joined all these masterminds and we were each doing $1 million a year at the time in our business. And we meet in a pool in Philadelphia, of all places. at our apartment complex, by the way. And we're just like chilling. Our wives are there. We just ended up right next to each other in the pool, just like chilling on the side. What do you do? What do you do? That's where I met Nehemiah. Our wives are talking. I'm like, what do you do? What are you going to do this year? He's like $1 million.
Hold on.
I'm like, I'm going to do $1 million too.
Video of Batman.
Right? And laugh at me in 3 years. Every single person I told that goal to said, stretch goals, that's cool, man. He was the only person that looked me in the eye and said, how are you gonna get there? What's the deadline? What's the penalty if you don't reach it? He was saying this shit to me. I just met him in the pool. What's the deadline? I'm like, dude, I don't need to give you a deadline. Right? And then he said, I'm joining this thing called War Room. I'm joining this thing called Inner Circle, Russell Brunson's Inner Circle. I'm joining this thing called 30K, 55K, 155K, mastermind, this mastermind, that mastermind, this. And he would show me the wire that he was wiring over six figures to these people for masterminds. I had already had experience with 3 masterminds that I had success with. So what did I do? Neo was blowing up at that point in time. I was like, I'm just gonna follow him and just plow my money exactly right in Neo's foot. Just, okay, he joins this one. I'm like, bop, 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 30K, 50, this, that. I was broke. I had no money. I went into debt. So this leads me to my last point, which is the progress triangle. Then I'm gonna pull Neo up here for something special. The progress triangle is what changed my life. And it's the power that I found in personal development that changed everything for me. There are 3 prongs of this. I want you to picture it like a triangle. There's the north piece of the triangle, east, west, right? The north point is what's called pain of payment. Everyone, please write this down. Pain of payment. The second prong is what is called group accountability effect. Let's call it this prong right here. Okay? And the last prong is what's called the calendar effect. How many of you have ever wanted to get in shape? Dial your health in. This year I'm gonna turn it around. Raise your hand like this if you're human like me and you've ever wanted to get in shape. Anyone? Yeah. What do you think works better? Go into the gym all alone. I'm gonna grind it out and be disciplined, blah, 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 blah. Or does it work better to just hire a diet coach or hire a nutrition coach or hire a fitness coach? What do you think? Coach or alone? Say it again, coach or alone? See, what happens when you hire a coach of sorts, you are embracing pain of payment. When you pay for something very fascinating happens in the human brain. It's called buyer's remorse. How many of you who like joined one of their high-level masterminds before felt that sinking feeling in your stomach when you joined? Let me see some hand raises, right? Did you survive? Say yes. Okay, you survived, and did the fact that you spent money on yourself, did that propel your success or did it slow it down? Propel or slow? Go. Propelled your success because you pulled out the wallet and you actually spent money on yourself. It propelled you forward, right? It forced you. Someone says force. It forced you to figure it out. Not only that, but you were immediately surrounded by a higher level social group. Show me your social group, I'll show you your future. This is not a joke. I really spend what I told you I spent. Does everyone understand? I am dead serious here. This is real. When you have pain of payment, when you have group accountability effect, meaning the people you're surrounded with are doing bigger things than you, and you have the calendar effect, you have commitments. What did I say? Say it again. What? You have commitments pulling you forward. Well, I got to attend this next live. I got to attend this next training. I got to attend this next quarterly. I got to attend this next mastermind. I got to attend this next one. Who are you not hanging out with while you're doing that? The people who support the old you. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. So I want to pull Nehemiah up. See, some of you came in here to better yourself. And I'm here to invite that you do a little bit more than that. That instead of you trying to better your current self, maybe you need to part ways with that self.